but something about this Hantavirus cruise ship story feels off. Not necessarily fake, not necessarily engineered, not some grand villain lair conspiracy theory where a guy with a shaved cat is pressing a red button under a mountain somewhere. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the coverage has been weird. All right, now walk with me here for a moment. The information flow seems weird, doesn't it? The timeline seems weird. The public messaging is weird. And after all we lived through in 2020, weird does not get the benefit of the doubt anymore. Now, the ship, of course, is the MV Hondius. According to WHO, the WHO, that is, the outbreak-linked voyage departed from Ushuaia, Argentina. I'm sorry if I screwed up that city name, but departed from Argentina on April 1st. ECDC says the same. Reuters, meanwhile, reports that some passengers and crew had been on board since March 20th. Now, that might be explainable. Maybe there were back-to-back expedition legs. Maybe some crew and passengers boarded earlier. Maybe the official outbreak itinerary starts on April 1st, while the ship's practical passenger timeline starts earlier. That could be fine. But then you need to say that clearly, because after the last several years, when health officials give timelines that require a decoder ring, people notice. So here's the official timeline as best we can piece it together. April 6th, a passenger starts showing symptoms, fever, headache, mild diarrhea. April 11th, that passenger develops respiratory distress and dies on board. The WHO says no microbiological tests were performed. On April 21st, his body then is removed at St. Helena, and his wife, a close contact, also gets off the ship with gastrointestinal symptoms. She deteriorates then during a flight to Johannesburg and dies on April 26th. Then on May 2nd, another passenger dies on board. By May 4th, the WHO is reporting 7 cases, including 3 deaths, and now we're seeing 27 or something by last count. I'm sure there'll be more by the time you watch this clip. Now, this isn't nothing, all right? 3 people have died, a small expedition ship, remote islands, a virus most people had barely thought about since the occasional news story, about rodents in cabins, or more recently, the death of Gene Hackman's wife being discussed in connection with Hantavirus. And yet the media behavior around all this has been strangely narrow.